If you wanna find me, yeah, I'm in the front row. Got my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. Best place to be, yeah. If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. Got my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the In the Front Row YouTube page. I'm your host, Dylan. My co-host, Danny and Paul, are alongside with me today, and we are chatting everything NBA, including, guys, the NBA Finals are now set. Last time we talked, both teams, the Lakers and the Heat, were 1 win away from the conference finals. The Lakers winning in 5 games to take out the Denver Nuggets, and the Heat winning in 6 to take out the Boston Celtics. And the finals matchup is set. It will start September 30th. So we are so excited. The Heat and the Lakers are the last 2 teams remaining. Danny, your reaction and your excitement about the Lakers.
Well, since Shireen is not here, I had to represent with the Kobe jersey. And I've decided, that every show now until the Lakers win the finals, which I think we're going to win it all. I hate to give it away, but I'm going to say 6 games. I'll give them 6. Every other round's been 5, but I'll give them 6 out of the kindness of my heart. And I'm stoked. It's been 10 years, and we're back, baby. Lakers are back.
Yep. Paul, your first reaction to the finals when you hear it's Lakers versus Heat?
My first reaction is that we have a lot of Kentucky players on both sides.
Somehow I knew that was going to be the case.
We got a lot of Kentucky players. Coach Cal been doing a great job, so we're getting them in there. I think it's going to be exciting. The Heat plays well, and it's a different guy each night, so it's hard to really do film on them. And the Lakers, they have so much talent. They're centers. They can go from big guys to Howard. Anybody can come in there and they can cover. They're very athletic. I'm a Laker fan since Magic, since '78. I hate to go against them. Oh, that's gonna be hard. I'm gonna be in the middle of this one.
Wait, Paul, you're not taking the Lakers? Is that what you're saying? You're not taking the Lakers in the series?
Yeah, this is one underdog, though, really scares the Heat because it's hard to prepare for overall because of so many guys can score and they play well together. And they defensive-minded first. But again, the Lakers have so many weapons, and it's hard.
Well, to your point, I think Miami's proven that. I think they're both 12-3 in the playoffs. They've proven they swept in the first round. Everyone assumed the Bucks were going to be in the finals. Yeah. It was going to be a cakewalk for them, and they took it to them. They took a 3-0 lead on. They dominated that series, and they've proven versus Celtics as well that they're the cream of the crop in the East, and they have a lot of momentum, and they are a scary team. That's why, seriously, honestly, I give them 6 games because it's going to be a tougher series than the Denver series was. They have a lot of weapons, like you said, a lot of shooters. They got a lot of guys to throw at LeBron. So, it's not just one guy, maybe Jeremy Grant, who's maybe the only guy that could guard LeBron on Denver. But now you got, Jimmy Butler, you got Crowder, you got so many, Iguodala, who's done a great job on LeBron in the past. So they've got so many guys that they can throw at LeBron. You got Bam Bam down low to bang with AD. That's not going to be easy. He's been incredible for them. Was the best player for them in the Celtics series. It's going to be a tough series, no doubt. But I think the Lakers will, in the end, they have the 2 main guys. They have the 2 best players in the series. Oh, yeah. Usually when you got 2 of the top 5 guys in the NBA on your team, you take care of business in the finals. And LeBron has all the motivation in the world, and I would not bet against LeBron if I were advising anyone out there. Don't bet against LeBron.
But see, the thing about LeBron that gets me, when he started playing bounce, 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 bounce until the last few seconds, and then try to get it off or do something. They're able to get beat at that moment because he just holds the ball too long. When they moving it and cutting and playing, they're a whole better team.
And if anyone knows LeBron, it's Eric Spoelstra. And I think they'll utilize that strategy. They'll force him. They would love for him to just shoot outside, dribble the ball, take those deep threes, because they know that that's a low percentage shot. And LeBron in the paint, LeBron driving to the basket, that's a very high percentage opportunity. So Miami.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I think Miami, they have great coaching. They're gonna know exactly what LeBron likes, where he likes. And Pat Riley also, he's been with LeBron for a long time. He's got all the motivation in the world because they didn't end well on good terms. Pat Riley thought that LeBron, if after you lose in the finals, what you do is you come back and you try to show the world that no, like you finish with a title. You don't end leaving without winning for the franchise. So they're definitely going to be a heated series, no pun intended. Yeah. And it's not going to be easy. And I could definitely see it going 6. And I'm not going to give them 7, but Paul, it sounds like you're leaning towards Heat maybe, or Lakers in 7.
I'm looking. If it goes 7, I'm gonna have to go with the Heat.
Oh, all right.
If it goes 7, I'm gonna have to go with the Heat because again, there's no pressure on the Heat. It's no pressure on the Heat. They just out there playing. The Lakers from day one when LeBron came over, a year and a half, 2 years now, it was Lakers going back to the finals. They in the finals now.
Yeah,
they got AD. They got all the pressure. They got probably the best assembled team I've seen in a long time. I think it's better assembled than the Warriors altogether. But you look at that. So now, who's the pressure on?
Yeah, the pressure
wasn't even talked about.
No, I agree. The pressure's all on the Lakers, and I think that's why it's important that the Lakers come out and win Game 1. They have to, because or else if they go down to 1-0 and then all the demons of LeBron's past come out about the Dallas series, and then all the demons of the Lakers past where they had that super team with Kobe and Shaq and Malone and Payton, and they couldn't take, they got to the finals, but what happened? Detroit just from the game 1 on, they asserted their dominance. So
again, who was betting on Detroit at that time?
Right, nobody. They were the huge underdog. They had nothing to lose.
They had nothing to lose. He just playing like they were playing. They played, and so that's why I said the Heat is scary. Especially how they played Milwaukee. And, that was one of the best teams in the league at the time. Matter of fact, they had the best record, didn't they? I think.
They did, yeah.
They had the best record. So
I give them their props, but in the end, I think it's going to be the Lakers. I just think that they got the 2 big guys. LeBron are healthy. I don't see them losing.
There's a few points I want to make on the Heat and the Lakers. First, I want to make on the Heat side. You mentioned Eric Spoelstra earlier. Eric Spoelstra is a championship pedigree coach. I know it's going to be a big influence. We saw him make adjustments in the Eastern Conference Finals. He really had the upper hand in coaching against Brad Stevens, many thought. So I thought that was interesting to look at. Spoelstra, like you said, did coach LeBron James. He kind of knows his tendencies, kind of knows his style. And Miami can go big and small. So depending on the matchup with the Lakers, I think they can put size on the floor. They can go small. We saw it in Boston. Boston, not that big of a team. They decided to go small. They benched Kendrick Nunn at one point in the series, but maybe the Lakers have a little more size. We'll see the reemergence of him. So I think it's interesting to see it from that point. Like you said about the Lakers, I think one thing that always wins is superstar players. And you have the 2 best players on the floor with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. LeBron James still looks motivated and still looks, even after the Game 5 win, he did not look happy at all.
He's locked in. He's in playoff mode.
Yeah, so he is in playoff mode. He is ready to go. We saw at the end of Game 5, LeBron James, we saw it was when they needed it, he hit, 8 or 9 straight points. He really hit a few big shots on the stretch to really steal the Nuggets. I know Jokic got in foul trouble again. I know Murray was hurt, and it There was a hope, and the Nuggets, I think, finally ran out of gas, and the Lakers took care of business. But still, LeBron James, when they needed him offensively, he showed up. We've seen AD hit a clutch shot in that series as well. So I think clutch. Guys, my prediction, this is difficult because I said I wouldn't pick against the Lakers the rest of the playoffs after I did against the Blazers. So I'm going to continue that trend. I'm going to pick the Lakers. I think this series might go 7. I think it's evenly matched. Oh, that doesn't feel right in my gut, though. I don't know. I'm like, Paul, I'm back and forth.
Just embrace it, Dylan. Embrace it. Just embrace it. Embrace it all.
It's a tough decision because I think the Heat are talented. You have young players like Tyler Hero and Bam who have really stepped up during the course of the postseason. Tyler Hero big when they clinched Game 6, so it's going to be interesting to watch. Bam had a big game. Guys, we're going to move on because some news happened.
Right, I just want to say, don't fear the dark side. Just give in to your feelings and come to the dark side.
Honestly, this is difficult because I've said I wouldn't pick against the Lakers the rest of the playoffs, but my gut is telling me Miami for some reason. I don't.
You got to go with the gut. I mean, it was right. It was right on the Ravens the Monday night game.
I mean, it was right on the Raiders pick though. So my gut.
Anywhere it goes, I got Kentucky on both sides. So anywhere it goes.
I could have guessed that was your answer right there. You're a Laker fan.
I am a Laker fan. I'm a diehard Laker fan.
And who's the best Kentucky player on the court?
Davis is the best. Paper-wise. Now, Hero might come out. Maybe Bam come out. Hey, as
long as his ankles aren't paper thin, we're good. We're going to win this. Don't worry about it.
This is difficult. I'm still struggling on my pick, guys.
Rondo might be that one come out of. That's another Kentucky. We can go deep in Kentucky now. We go deep in Kentucky.
All right, guys, we are going to move on.
I can't argue. They dominate the NBA. You're right. Kentucky basketball.
The NBA finals set to go off, and we are all excited. The Lakers and the Heat, guys, will be the matchup. Too bad it's not in literally Miami and literally Los Angeles, 2 great locations, but they will play down in the bubble in Orlando. We're going to move on because a bit of news did happen in Los Angeles today on the other side of the Staples Center, the team that plays in the Staples Center. The Los Angeles Clippers have parted ways with Coach Doc Rivers after 7 seasons. The Clippers' epic 3-1 collapse to the Nuggets, and still no conference finals appearances despite Rivers' 7 seasons at the helm. He did bring a little more consistency to the Clippers and left them with a very talented roster. So he did definitely contribute to the future success of the Clippers immediately. But guys, were you shocked when Doc Rivers parted ways with the Clippers?
I was definitely shocked. I have a friend who's a reporter with The Athletic, Jovan Buha. Shout out to Jovan Buha. And he's really plugged in with the Clippers, and he was shocked. He talking to multiple sources, talking to multiple people within the organization, and he didn't see it coming at all. So if he was shocked, I mean, I was definitely shocked because, like you said, he brought stability to the Clippers. He was with them through a lot of tough times with the whole Donald Sterling ordeal. So many different instances. He kind of pulled them all together. So he's great with the players love him, but there's something where you can't get over that hump, it seems, in the finals. He had that one win against the Lakers in the 2008 Celtics. Seem like they've been living off that for 12 years now. That's all they talk about. One win. a stacked team where the Lakers were not even supposed to be good that year. Really, they traded for Paul Gasol halfway. So I got to talk about Lakers in any second. We traded for Paul halfway through the year. Before the year, Kobe wanted to lead the Lakers because they had lost in the first round 2 straight years, and then we lost Bynum. We traded for Powell. We weren't supposed to win the championship that year. I wasn't disappointed in that finals because the Celtics were stacked. They had KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce all still not in their prime, but towards the end of their prime.
You forgot somebody.
Rondo as well, and Rondo was balling too. When he was young, Rondo was scary. Not that he's not still doing it, but young Rondo, people forget he was really, really good.
Yeah, Paul, your reaction to Doc Rivers not being the coach of the Clippers anymore?
By knowing him, and very classy guy, very first class guy. It was a shock. I thought, one more year with this type of team. I thought it was just a guaranteed thing. Yeah, they blew it this first time. But get back, let him get back and get a full season with them, and then see how it go. I think he'll land somewhere. He might even land in Houston. They're gonna definitely he's gonna be a coach somewhere. He's that good of a coach, great as a mentor. I don't know who's gonna go to the Clippers. It'd probably be Lou, that's the assistant coach. I think he have a good shot. Actually, they got a guy that's announcing should be having a coaching job somewhere. Mark Jackson. I really think he should be coaching somewhere. He was a season away from winning the championship. Couple players away. Not taking anything away from the Warriors, but he's that. I think he's a great coach they could have going there. He's a player's coach. It's just just a sign of the business, man. It's a sign of the business. If he'd have made it to the Western Finals, we wouldn't even be talking about this. Even if they won, they're talking about, they almost lost in Game 7. They'd have won Game 7. We wouldn't be talking about this. Even if they would have lost to the Lakers in the finals, at least they'd have made it to the Western Finals. It wouldn't have been as big of a talk.
It definitely would have been. It definitely was shocking for me when I saw the news. I really had no sign of it or I didn't really think it was happening. I know Doc Rivers wrote a letter or a thing on Twitter about his departure. Two candidates that Woj, the ESPN reporter who reported Doc Rivers was out as the Clippers coach, said right now Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy are among the two top candidates in the market.
How about Jeff?
Yeah.
They got the wrong
That's
announcer.
No, but I agree with Paul. I think Mark Jackson does deserve a coaching job. I wrote an article on this. It's up on inthefrontrow.com now, where the Clippers should go next. I think if they're staying in, Ty Lue makes the most sense. You can promote him. He's familiar with the system. He is a championship coach. I think the Clippers need leadership and championship pedigree right now. I think that he won the championship with Cleveland in 2016. He's coached players like LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. So he's dealt with big personalities and he knows how to lead a team. So I think he would be.
Has he dealt with someone with no personality is the question.
I know, because I think.
Oh, you trying to talk about?
My thing is.
That was slick.
My thing is Kawhi Leonard. I think the leadership still. I told you when they collapsed, the leadership is still developing. So I think they need someone to come in and they need someone to win right away. So an experienced head coach would be the best. Because Paul George is on the last year of his contract, we don't know if he's going to sign a contract extension or where he's going. So we'll see that. But with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, it's going to be interesting to see. I think another person that isn't going to get the job, but interesting, is Becky Hammon. I think Becky Hammon, who coaches is the assistant coach for the Spurs currently. I know she's like 10th in odds to get the job, but I think if you're going outside of the Clippers and bringing in a person who maybe isn't necessarily experienced, I think she could be the person for the job. She coached under Greg Popovich, who was one of the best coaches of all time. She made 5 playoff appearances in her 6 seasons as a head coach. It's risky because she would be a first-time head coach, but I think it would be an interesting but risky hire. I would approve of it.
All right. The roster kind of demands a coach that has championship experience, a coach that's been there. People are saying on the internet, of course, the crazy place that is the internet, that why don't they just call Phil Jackson? Phil Jackson not going to Clippers, guys.
No,
it ain't happening.
No.
But it would be.
But they need someone with that kind of pedigree, though. They need someone that they can respect and know, somebody that has won a championship. I mean, that's why they respected Doc, even though, I think with the Clippers, and it was a shortened season, even though they came back, expected them to take on professionalism and get together and be together. They haven't been together long. I mean, if you go down matter of fact, go to the other locker room, to the Lakers, their pedigree and their togetherness, you could see it. they worked on it. And it started with LeBron. They worked on it. That was their, the thing to make sure and make AD comfortable, and they just played together. Everybody playing their roles. But then you go with Kawhi. He's not that kind of guy. He's not that, outgoing. Let's come together. Look, I lead by example. And in some instances, some things it works out well. It worked out well in Toronto because those guys fell into that, and they kept playing hard. But you got kind of superstars. You got Beverly on one end. You got Harold on the other end, and you got these different kind of personalities that are not the same personalities as your main guy. And then you don't know how. Yeah, you don't know how they're going to come together and do that.
The ones that are trying to lead the team, it's tough because it's different. It's different for the teammates because you're going to respect the best players on the team. You're going to respect them the most. And if they're not the ones, Paul George and Kawhi, that are leading you, it's the role players. It's just not the same. Like the superstars feel like they're not, doing their roles either. And so they need to improve as leaders. And that's why it is important that they bring in a strong leader with championship experience that they really respect. The tough part is, who is that? There's not that many guys out there.
They all gone.
I think it's interesting. I think obviously you want that seasoned experienced coach that could come in. I was just saying Becky Hammond, I know it's unlikely to happen, but I think it would be an interesting hire just because she has a good relationship with players. Pau Gasol has backed her up in the future or in the past. Danny Green, who is a current Laker, said she's one of the top 5 coaches he's ever played for. I'm just saying if you want a breath of fresh air, it could be a possible hire. Other names.
It's harder for some of the top coaches to be in that type of hot seat.
Yeah. Other names.
That's a hot seat. LA is, and because they expect to be there with that kind of talent. You are expecting to be at the end.
Other names that have been on the market. You have obviously Ty Lue has been on the market. We talked about him coming in. He has that championship pedigree and experience. Also, people are looking at Alvin Gentry possibly. He has 17 years of head coaching experience. He has a winning record in the playoffs. The only thing that he hasn't done yet as a head coach is win a championship. So possibly they could win their first one together. I still personally, obviously they can't do anything about now the Clippers have made their decision with Doc Rivers. I thought they should have given Doc Rivers one more year. You just brought in all that talent. You still got to mesh all of them together. Like you said, different personalities, Kawhi and Paul George playing together for the first time as a dynamic duo and meshing in with Beverly, meshing in with Montrezl Harrell. I think you should have given Doc Rivers, I know when the Clippers lost their series, a lot of people were like, wow, let's bust up the locker room. But I don't think you can overreact like that. I think you should have given him at least one more year to try to get to the Western Conference Finals or the Finals, or even if it was a championship or bust year. Second year playing together, you kind of get used to each other. You kind of adjust to each other. It was a weird season. There was a big break in the middle. I think Doc possibly at least one more year, but obviously the Clippers have moved forward, and guys will overreact when the Clippers hire their next coach.
It's also interesting to see where Doc Rivers goes.
I know the Pelicans have reached out to him.
Houston.
Yeah, but Paul, what do you think about him going to the Sixers potentially? You think that would be a good fit? Oh,
now that's another one. I didn't think about the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one too. He might even go down to Houston. I was thinking about Houston when they first heard about it. I said, "Oh, Houston might be," but Philly is another. That's another good one. Yeah, I like Philly.
Teams, yeah.
He's back on the East Coast, and he has
young guys that need it.
And they really need that. Yeah. Philly is that's a good look right there. That's a good one, Danny. I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, guys, unfortunately, I'm reading an article here from CBS Sports looking at the Phillies coaching search. Mike D'Antoni, apparently it's his job to lose.
Wow.
And he has the job yet.
Is that breaking news right now?
That was one day ago. So I think it's been I don't think it's official, but I think he's the front runner. You never know, but I think Doc Rivers would be a better hire than Mike D'Antoni, but that's my opinion. Ty Lue there's obviously there were rumors from him going to Philadelphia. Now I think he has an interview scheduled for Tuesday. Now people are wondering if he should even go to the interview. I don't know. That's what CBS Sports says. I'm going to open the whole article here. Just apparently Joel Embiid has given Mike D'Antoni a blessing to see, or if he were brought on as next coach. The only thing with Mike D'Antoni is he's had a lot of talent back to the Suns, back to the Rockets, and he hasn't done much better than the Sixers have done with their talent. So I personally don't understand the hire, but maybe there's a connection there that we don't see inside the locker room. Maybe.
Well, like you said, he's a leading candidate, right? It's not over yet.
Yeah,
so.
he's the leading candidate.
There's a lot of things up in the air now with Doc being let go. Like you said, the Ty Lue situation. There's some rumors that maybe that is why he was set to interview on Tuesday with the Sixers, and then all of a sudden today, Doc was let go. So that could have been something there that maybe they didn't want Ty Lue to leave. So.
Yep. That article.
So tell me who you said endorsed him?
Joe Embiid.
See, now Joe Embiid don't know that he likes small ball.
Yeah.
Joe Embiid might be on his way out. He better have somebody in there that likes him.
Ask Paul Gasol and Dwight Howard, Joel Embiid, before you say anything.
Yeah,
that didn't work out with the two big men.
He takes him out. He takes him out the game. I mean, he took him out. Yeah, I really like Doc in Philly because I think you can give him that old school feel because they got like that old school feel 2.0. You know, they got the big, they got a very exciting guard, and they just need a couple of pieces, and they just need somebody to put them there. Antonio, I like him as a person, but he's going up and down. If it's not an up and down game, it's hard. It's hard for him to coach because that's the only thing he knows. And yeah, when the playoffs, you can tell that defense tightens up, and so you got to play the half court. So
I think Embiid wanted him for his numbers probably. He figures if D'Antoni comes here, I'm going to be averaging 30-20. It's going to look good, but it's not all about the numbers. It's about winning.
Yep, so a bit of an update. That article was from a day ago. That was before Doc Rivers was let go. The 76ers and Pelicans both reached out, according to the Undefeated, both reached out to Doc Rivers after he was let go as the Clippers coach. So maybe, like you said, maybe that's the stall in the hiring. Doc Rivers could, take that leading candidate position or could take the job. Like I said, I would hire Doc Rivers over Mike D'Antoni, but we'll see. Guys, we'll react to all of the coaching hires, especially the Clippers, what they do after moving on from Doc Rivers. We're going to have to move on to our shout outs here at the end of every show. We do one. So like I said, we'll keep you updated. We'll keep talking about it. Danny, you have another shout out?
Yeah, I'm actually not going to do a Laker right now, even though, game one's coming up Wednesday, but I'm going to shout out Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban did something today that was really commendable. What he did was he seeked out Delonte West, someone who's had a lot of issues, mental health issues, and he paid for, paid for a hotel. He said he will pay for his treatment. He took him under his wing and said, yeah, I'm going to make sure that, we take care of our players in the NBA. And that was, so shout out to Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
I think Wes is in Dallas too. I think he was in Dallas.
He was, yeah. He was one of his players, right?
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. That's big right there.
Yep.
I don't even think it's a better shout out,
I know. I don't know where to go after that. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's great. Not only just take care of players, just take care of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You see somebody that's down and you're able to help them out, and man, that's big, Danny. That's real big. I was going to go something on the light side of things, and just wow. But that messed me up.
Kentucky. You can still talk a little bit about Kentucky if you want to.
Oh, but okay. Since you brought it up, I just want to shout out all the Kentucky players that's in the finals. Start tomorrow night. Start tonight. So I just want to shout out all the Kentucky players.
I don't know where to go after that. That's a great shout out from Mark Cuban. I did see that, and that's pretty amazing. I think I'm gonna shout out. I've shouted her out before. Serena Williams. I think that the French Open started today. I know the Grand Slams are very not consecutive weeks, but very close to each other due to COVID. Serena won her first round match in the French Open against Christiane. So shout out to Serena Williams as she advances to the second round. And hopefully, guys, she'll get that elusive Grand Slam number 24. I know she's been waiting for it for 3 years. So hopefully she gets to the semifinals or finals and loses. But hopefully this time This is her tournament. She's ranked 6th. In the French Open, we'll continue to see Serena as she goes on her journey. Guys, we have to wrap it up here, but go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube and hit that notification bell because we're going to continue talking through the NBA Finals. We're also going to continue to talk when the Clippers hire somebody, when the 76ers hire somebody, the NFL, a lot going on. Go ahead and follow us on social media for all updates at In the
We're
Front.
gonna talk Lakers every championship coming this way, baby. Lakers 17th coming.
At In the Front Row LA. Go ahead and follow us. Check out my article on where the Clippers should go next. It's on our website now. I know our writer Calvin just released a few articles as well. So go ahead and check that out. Freighters been writing articles. Guys, I'm Dylan. We'll see you next time.
If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. Got 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I be in the front row, chilling out a